So off to town. Gonna grab the train for the short 10-minute ride into Liverpool Lime Street station. As I was explaining this morning when I was out walking the dog. So yeah, my stroke anxiety is a thing that I don't let define me and try and get out and do all the things I do. I mean, it does control me a little bit, but I try not to let it. So normally today I would not go out on a Monday, and I would not even entertain going to town, but I'm going to give it a go today. I'm going to be using the DJI Mic 2, which I think is absolutely brilliant, and obviously shooting most of this on my iPhone 14. That'll be updated in October, probably to the iPhone 16. I don't update all the time. I just try and do it when the battery starts getting a bit knackered and things start getting down. And obviously a little bit better technology is always better for shooting stuff, especially video and stuff. iPhones have come leaps and bounds from the first one I ever had to now, and I know there's better phones out there, but this works really, really well for me. And also Jane's got one as well, so if needs be, we can shoot 2 different phone angles on 2 different phones if it ever comes to it. But so far this works really, really well. So anyway, we're gonna walk along now to the train station. If there's anything on the train station, I'm going to try and shoot that, and then we'll go from there. So I made it into Lime Street. Ironically, Jane knew exactly what was going on, and I didn't pay enough attention. And so I'm thinking we've got 10 minutes left to get the train, and we didn't have 10 minutes left to get the train at all. We actually ended up running to get on the platform, to get on the train on time, to get into town, which in a way was quite interesting because it sort of cut down on the time, which cut down on the anxiety. So I'm going to walk into town now. I don't know whether I'm going to get anything on the way in. We'll see what we can find, and then we'll catch up as we go around. One of the interesting things I thought about this morning was shooting landscape in the past. One of the interesting things about shooting landscape in the past is you get up really early in the morning to be able to go out and shoot lovely landscapes before the contrast gets too high. With street photography, you can go out in any time of day, and it's even better when there's contrast out because you can get that nice light and shade. But in landscape, as soon as that contrast changes, you're finished, you're gone, and you're going home. I've walked down here before, and sometimes when I get to the bottom, there's a shot to get with the phone box. Sometimes there isn't. We'll just try again today. I always find it quite funny because there's some ladies behind me that were walking towards me. One's got a hat on, quite interesting characters, and now they've crossed the road and gone. So that's the end of that shot. That shot's finished. So I think I've got something with the girl by the phone box. Now, every time I walk down that road, I say there's something there. There's always something there, and I don't like shooting through phone boxes. But the girl came around the corner, I got the shot. I actually think a car went behind her at the same time and spoilt the shot, but we'll get back and you'll be able to see it now anyway. This is more the business district, and it's always very, very quiet around here, no matter what time of the week, especially during the week. It's a bit of a mixture of quiet and busy depending on what time of the day it is, and at the weekend it's generally quite quiet. Matthew Street's always funny. It's really, really good to come here and shoot street photography. It's just easy because everyone's a tourist. I don't really get the sort of stuff I want to get, but I just keep coming back over and over again. And one of the downsides to today, I've just realised why I can't get great stuff as far as the light's concerned, and that is because there's loads of tables and chairs out the front now. Since COVID, that's been the in thing. So some of the great patches of light and everything else, I can't photograph people there anymore. So I have to come up with some new interesting places. So one of the most important things when you come out into town, I've just come down, I've shot a couple of things in Matthew Street, which you've probably seen, and been for a coffee. And the good thing about going for a coffee is you've come out. Sometimes coming into a city is a really big assault on the senses. There's loads of things going on, loads of people walking around, and it can cause quite a lot of stress and anxiety in anyone, especially if you live out in an environment where there isn't many people and you come into a city where there's thousands of people all milling around and all over the place. And in theory, it's supposed to be quite quiet on a Monday here in Liverpool, but it's actually been quite busy. So we've gone and had a coffee and it slowed the pace down a little bit, and we're going to take a little walk now, and we're going to walk a little bit around past the Blue Coat and up Bold Street and around that sort of area and see what we can get. The most important thing is to come out and enjoy your day out and be relaxed. Today I'm shooting on an XT30 with an 18-55 lens. Now, shooting on this camera is something new to me since my stroke. As everyone usually knows, I usually shoot on a X100 or an X Pro 2, but a lot of the time I can tilt this screen out and use it like an old rangefinder style camera by looking down there, or I can just look through the viewfinder. It all depends on the subject matter. Earlier on, I shot a girl walking past a telephone box just by holding the camera to my eye, which is a natural thing to do. But the great thing about having the options of a tilt out back screen and everything else is you just have options. And I used to shoot, as I've said a lot of the times during this week, I used to shoot on prime lenses all the time, like 23mm and things like that, 35mm. But I like a little bit, now I've had a stroke, it takes me a little bit time to think about composition and think about composing stuff and getting things in the right place. And sometimes I'm just standing in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I'm not kidding you, like you could just miss something so quickly and so simply by not being in the right place at the right time. So one of the things I try and do is give myself options these days, and by using this little camera, it's a nice cheap little camera really, and it gives me a load of different options, and having a little tiny zoom on me gives me a load of options as well. So let's go and see what we can get. So one of the funniest things is I used to teach street photography in Bold Street here, and it used to be one of my favourite places, and since they've done all the tables and chairs, I don't quite like it so much. But one of the funny things is the more you walk up and down here, the more you'll notice that it's shady on one side of the road, on this side, and light on the other. So you can decide which side of the road you want to walk on. You can either walk on the left in the sunshine, in the right in the shade, and then you can try and get some high contrast shots if you don't get run over by a Just Eat rider. There's loads of interesting people vaping, people not wearing much in the summer. But the trouble is street photography is more considered than that. And so you've got to find something that works, something that stands out, a great window that works. It's really, really complicated today. It's quite busy here, but nothing's really working for me. It's graduation day. I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to look for a window shot. I'm trying to look for a person that stands out or a group of people that stands out. And you see great street photography all the time. But the trouble with great street photography is you see someone's year's work compressed down into 1 or 2 days or even 6 images online. There's some great street photographers about that can actually manage to shoot and shoot and shoot because they live in great areas where loads happens, and they manage to get really, really good separation, and they see really, really good things every day of the week. But even them, they're not out all the time. They can't capture everything all the time. It's just a matter of going out, having a look round, seeing what you can see. Hopefully you'll catch it in time. Sometimes you don't. If you don't get the camera to your eye quick enough, you're going to miss it. When you're walking around a street like this, yes, there's people everywhere, but I very much doubt you'll see a shot before I do here. There's a guy up here that always plays an instrument outside a shop. And some people might think, oh, he's quite interesting, but to me, he's just boring. It doesn't really do anything for me at all whatsoever. So as I say, I used to teach street photography around here. I used to walk up and down here and let my people go out in Bold Street and see what they can get. And they always used to think, because I'd shot loads here, that it was really easy and they were going to go home with 20 or 30 shots. But the truth of the matter is, you're not going to go home with 20 or 30 shots at all whatsoever. There's not 20 or 30 shots here every single day of the week. There's only one or two every now and again. And as I say, all these tables and chairs been put outside all these lovely windows have absolutely destroyed everything I used to do here. Some of the old windows that I used to shoot around here, I used to get shot after shot, and I used to be able to stand and wait and see what's going on, plot up, get some great shots and go from there. But the trouble is, all these tables and chairs everywhere have absolutely destroyed the way I used to work. And then coming out after a stroke and trying to get back to shooting my street the way I used to shoot it, it's almost impossible. And even this window over here of this place here, the tables and chairs spoil that. Leaf on Bold Street didn't have the tea tree music, good times written on the window in gold, and that's all now got tables and chairs outside. Sounds like I'm being pretty negative about Bold Street, but Bold Street's still a great street. It's full of really interesting people. It's just a lot more difficult to photograph now, and I guess there's another way to do it, and maybe I'll think about that in the future of how I can shoot it. But unfortunately, these tables and chairs have quite spoiled it for me. And also, these people here on the left sitting down here with their glasses on, they're quite interesting, but people lounging back, having a drink, don't really do it for me. And I don't know whether they do it for you, so tell me, let me know below in the comments, but they don't really do it for me. I'm looking for a little bit of great light in a window now, and there's some nice light there, but I'm not too sure how that's gonna pan out. Bold Street coffee.
So much, guys. Lovely afternoon.
So Bold Street coffee there was a prime example. I got a shot there, but I don't know how it's going to work. And it used to be shot after shot after shot. I used to come to Bold Street and be able to shoot the Bold Street coffee bench every day of the week. And now we've got tables outside and people in the background. You get a few layers, but it isn't going to work unless you shoot it a million times. And maybe over time I'll be able to get something there. I'm just going to have to come back and find out. So the interesting thing there is another street photographer just shot Bold Street photography. Another street photographer just shot Bold Street coffee window. So when I come past, they're super aware of photographers. So I'll give it a miss on the way back down. And that's what you've got to watch out for. I saw him pass by me on the left-hand side, and he's just been quite obvious with his photography. And then it makes people wonder what's going on. So you have to be a little bit careful. Otherwise, another photographer might be upsetting your day by having someone thinking, why does everyone keep taking my picture? Why does everyone keep taking my picture?
Yes, I will finish for them.
So this is probably one of the hardest days I've ever had, and I suppose it's a good thing to show. It's one of the hardest days I've ever had walking down Bold Street trying to find something, and it's the wrong time of day, I suppose, because it's lunchtime and everyone's sitting outside eating and drinking. And what you want is a bit later on in the afternoon when people are sitting around chatting more rather than stuffing their faces with food, because stuffing your face with a burger doesn't really work in street photography. Well, it can do if you want. Yeah, so if you look at these people here on the table on the right here, they're talking, but they're not that interesting. So there's nothing to shoot. There's nothing to shoot at all apart from people talking. It's boring. They're in nice light, but there's nothing there to shoot at all whatsoever. Yeah, extremely difficult day today. Extremely difficult day shooting Bold Street. There's a hand gesture in that window just there, but it just doesn't work because it's not in the right light. Hello. That just goes to show how hard it is. So I've probably got a few, and I've put in a few from the past to show you the difference between what I used to be able to get from a window and what I can't get now because there's tables in the way. But the whole process was to come out here, walk around and show you what I can get in a couple of hours. On a sort of Monday, it's quite a quiet day. It's a relaxing day for me and Jane to come out here and do it. I would say it was hard, harder than usual. Maybe there's not so many students about, maybe there's not so many holiday makers about. I found it quite difficult. The light was fine. The tables and chairs are all in the wrong places. All the great places I used to go to get great light. The light's still there. There's tables and chairs in the way. So the good thing is I'll come out over and over again and I'll find better places to go and better places to look. But this was just an experiment today to come to Liverpool because Southport's really, really good. And the next time I go out, it's going to be in Southport. I've got one more thing to do. We're going to Clumber Park in a few weeks' time, and I hope to do a video when we're in Clumber Park, a bit more about photographing around parks, etc., etc. But the next time we actually do anything, it will actually be Southport, and we'll hope to try and get you something really, really good there. So see you on the next video.